Hey everyone, and welcome back. This is Opening a Surgical Practice, a Digital Journey, and this is episode number 3. In episode number 3, we're going to be talking primarily about the financial issues that you are going to run into and things that you need to think about from a financial perspective before and during the opening of your practice. So to get started, we're going to first talk about financial projections, because in order to plan properly, you need to have an idea as to how much revenue you're going to be bringing in and how much expenses you'll have trying to generate that revenue. So firstly, projecting revenue may be a little difficult. And one may ask, well, how are we going to project revenue if I've never done this before, if I've never seen how much money I've been making for other employers before? Well, the real answer to that is just down and dirty research. You have to do your own work, do your own homework. One of the ways, and the best way probably, of finding out how much money you're going to get reimbursed and how much revenue you're going to take is looking at your own medical bills. Looking at your medical bills and seeing, well, how much is my insurance company paying my doctor for the services that my doctor provided for me? So by doing that, you can get an idea as to how much, as a practicing physician or a practicing surgeon, you will get reimbursed. Now, it doesn't make sense for me to look at medical bills to see how much I'm going to get reimbursed, because I'm a surgeon. And obviously, there are different scales of reimbursement for surgeons versus cardiologists versus pulmonologists. So it would be best for me to look at other surgical bills. So maybe friends or family members that I have who've had the same kinds of operations that I'm willing to perform, I take a look at their bills and see how much the reimbursements are. Then you sort of determine how many procedures you'll think you'll have in a particular week. And then you extrapolate that out to see how much revenue you're going to be bringing in on a monthly basis. In terms of expenses, it's just, how much money are you going to be spending trying to generate that revenue? So things like rent and or mortgage for your office space, office supplies, malpractice insurance, attorney's fees, accountant fees, payroll benefits. These are all things that you have to take in consideration when trying to calculate your expenses. And the full list of expenses that I'm going to be dealing with is actually below this video. So please check out the link below to see what expenses that will be incurred during this time. So while you are preparing your financial pro forma, it is important that you also locate an accountant. An accountant can not only help you file taxes at the end of the year, but they will be invaluable for you in formulating and creating your financial pro forma. And particularly if you find an accountant who has experience in opening medical practices, that will be beneficial beyond means. So I'm using Buseyu Ogunsanya from Big Apple Tax Return. He's been helping me with creating my financial pro forma. He's also helped me sort of navigate some of the roadblocks and some of the barriers that I'm encountering as I go throughout this process. He himself is also an entrepreneur, so he has experience in dealing with all kinds of matters related to starting a practice. So you must find an accountant, and preferably an accountant with experience in the medical field and opening medical practices. So once you finished your financial pro forma, once you found your accountant, it's now time to determine how you're going to finance opening this practice. So there's several different ways to finance opening the practice. Obviously, number one, you can choose to use your own personal finances in starting this venture. You can also ask for loans from family or friends, or three, which I think is most common, you find a bank or financial institution that's willing to give you a loan or a line of credit. My own personal advice, I would find someone, preferably a bank, to give me a loan. The cash money that you may have on hand, you probably want to hold on to that to help pay for your own personal expenses. Mortgage, cars, insurance, food for the family, those kinds of things. So you want to hold on to as much of your own cash as you can. So I actually chose to get a loan from a financial institution, and my accountant actually introduced me to a financial representative from that institution to help open up this loan and line of credit. So you can get a loan, you can get a line of credit, or you can set up a situation where you have a combination of both a loan and a line of credit. Also, when you open up that account with that particular financial institution, you'll likely also set up a business checking account with them as well. And it would behoove you to do all transactions related to opening your business through that one account. That way, it's very easy for your accountant to check the record of expenses. And also, when you start making revenue, to check how much revenue is coming in by just logging into that one account. You don't want, especially starting out, you don't want to have multiple accounts from which you're pulling money to pay for expenses. So, in conclusion, there are three things from a financial perspective that you need to do in order to create and then maintain this medical practice. The first is forming a financial pro forma. This will allow you to see what your revenue streams will be. This will allow you to take into consideration all of your expenses, and then will allow you to see the bottom line, how much profit you're going to make, and is this business going to be financially sustainable? Number two, locate an accountant, and the accountant is going to be invaluable to you for this entire process, and preferably an accountant in the medical field who has had experience in opening up medical practices. And number three, you need to determine how you're going to finance the opening of this venture. Are you going to use your own personal money? Are you going to get loans from family and friends? Or are you going to seek the help of financial institutions in getting loans and or lines of credit? So thanks for tuning into this episode. I very much look forward to your comments below. Please visit me on my Instagram page where I'm documenting this entire process as well. And we look forward to seeing you on the next episode.